Welcome to another beautiful day and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk love and life and how it has brought them to where they are today. And with me is Mr. Robert Garcia. I always say people's first name, but I'm like, that just like flows off my tongue. I'm like, Robert Garcia. I don't know why that's so appealing to me today, but it is. How are you?
I'm great, Danny, and this is actually a bucket list item for me. I've been trying to get on the show for a while. It's like as soon as I saw this show months ago, I was like, I need to connect with this girl. She knows what's going on.
A little bit. Don't give it too much credit because that's a far fall down from that. But before we start going, tell the world, who is Robert Garcia?
All right. I am an Air Force enlisted PhD, so I'm still in the reserves. So I'm a veteran. I'm the CEO of Shift Advanced Life Design Magazine, going strong 4 years now, and I teach business visibility and income streams.
All right. And you're a high school dropout.
And I'm a high school dropout and two-time college dropout.
So I had to put that in there because I'm a high school dropout too. And I didn't know if you knew that. We have some synergy there. And I didn't finish college either, so we have some synergy there too.
Yeah.
Probably for different reasons, Robert. I got pregnant in high school with my Marine, Jacob, and so I dropped out. Probably not why you dropped out. You did not get pregnant and raise a Marine. No. And then in college, I was going to college and I had this little cute little booger running around. And my dad was like, hey, you want to come and work for our family business? And I was like, yeah. So I took over this whole entire company. And I was like, why am I going to spend my money on college? It's not going to teach me anything. I'm running this, $500,000 company, easy peasy lemon squeezy in my sleep. I got this.
Yeah, that's wild. That is different from my stuff. I had an undiagnosed learning disability, and so I couldn't focus in a classroom. And so back then we didn't have drugs, we didn't have teaching methods, we didn't have ways of helping kids with ADD or dyslexia or anything like that. So I just suffered and did the best I could.
Did you have dyslexia, or do you have dyslexia?
No, just ADD, processing cognitive disorder. Just can't focus on classroom and auditory instructions the way the classrooms teach.
I have a bit of dyslexia. And you know what? One of my really good friends, he was the orthopedic surgeon for the Olympic team, one of the top orthopedic surgeons in the country. He's out in Vail. Totally dyslexic. This stuff that people say when you have all of these whatever labels that they put on you. Really, it's hard. And you might have a non-traditional path, but doesn't mean you're dumb. Hence us.
No, it's aptitude is far different from your intelligence or wisdom or genius levels. Like, for example, I taught myself how to make a magazine with zero experience, and that's aptitude.
Yeah. Why? Okay, I gotta go. Why?
Why a magazine?
Why a magazine? Why do what you're doing? What? Why?
Because I love to write, and I was writing a lot back in the day, a couple years ago, and I just thought, what if Tim Ferriss made a magazine? What would that look like to interview experts and deconstruct their processes to find out how they do what they do? And that's how Shift was born.
Yeah, kind of reverse engineering, right?
Exactly.
We don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are lots of wheels out there. Do you find it's kind of finding what wheel works for you?
Absolutely. I even wrote a book, Danny, on speed learning, and I identified 16 ways to learn something because that's what I had to do. That was the difference between me failing out of every school I went to versus getting a PhD. And I had to figure out what's that?
I need to read your book.
It's called The Next Level Supercharged, but reverse engineering was one of the techniques, right? And so I figured out, okay, if somebody can't learn the traditional way, what are ways that they do learn? I found out that I learned really well when I drew diagrams and I used colors. And when I did that, I could understand things way better. And certain things, diagramming, getting a mentor, YouTube videos, multi-modality instruction. So videos, podcasts, things like that for learning instead of just books in classrooms. These are all ways that alternate learners can learn things.
Okay, so I'm super curious about like what you do now. And when you take somebody, like, how do you help them do what you do? Or tell me about that process. Because
Yeah,
we're all
absolutely.
different.
So people reach out to me, and like I said, it falls under one of two categories: visibility and growth, or it's income streams. So when somebody comes to me and they say, my business is frozen, I don't know what to do, I look at their social media, I look at how they're coming across with the audience, and I look at it from their audience point of view. Okay. So looking at you right now, Danny, I was drawn to your show because high production value. Okay. You come across really like fun and professional. I'm looking at your background, like the way that you present yourself, even the scroll at the bottom, like all these small things, right? And this is what I do with clients. And I'm like, okay, would I buy from this person or not? And so we make those adjustments. Then I start looking at their social media, then start looking at interviews, stuff like that. So that's why people hire me, is just to make them more user friendly and customer friendly.
Right. So do you think you have like this kind of hidden talent or your superpower, your gift, whatever you want to call it, of being able to do that, but keep the person still that person, not trying to make all these cookie cutters of all of, this style? Because one of the things I hate, especially when I was just like, I'm always trying to learn and evolve, right? And I never want to be the smartest person in the room, which is not hard, but that's a joke. Haha. So say you're smart, Danielle. Is like learn from all these different people. But there's so many people out there like, you have to do it this way. And if you're not doing it this way, then you're wrong. Like if you don't get up early in the morning, then you're not going to be successful. And I'm like, you know what? I have brain damage from a car accident and I need my sleep. And so if I get up super early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, like you're asking, do you know how much pain I'm going to be in all day and how miserable and sluggish? So I found that this like, I don't like that style. I don't resonate with that, and I don't even promote that. So please tell me you're different and how you're different.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is trying to change people, and I don't do that at all. I augment. And I believe people need to be who they are at their core. And I encourage people to share in their social media the things that make them unique, right? So everybody knows I love Iron Man, and it is just a part of my thing. If you go in my apartment, I have pillows, I have a couple of comic books, I have all this stuff Iron Man related. And that makes me approachable and human rather than somebody that's just super stuffy and super, standoffish. And so I encourage people, share those goofy things. Share those things that you're really passionate about. If you're a Marvel nerd or you like Star Wars or, whatever. And that makes you a lot more friendly.
Yeah. That is so your superpower would be Iron Man. Would you be Iron Man?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
What is it about Iron Man that you want to be? Yeah, totally.
I just enjoy the character, and we all turn to superheroes because they are a reflection as to who our perfect lives are on a subconscious level. And so if you were to tell me you love Wonder Woman, or you were to tell me you love Captain Marvel, there'd be a reason why, because you'd see a Danny Rocco contained within it. So I love Iron Man because he's awkward and he's really, really smart, aptitude-wise. And he's a goofball. He's unpredictable. I completely relate.
Yeah. You know what my superpower is, or what I would be if I was is Thor.
Thor. Wow.
I would be Thor.
Why the God of Thunder? Why?
Okay. I love like his moral standing. I love his love for his family, and like he's just like his right and his wrong, and he would die for that. He would die for his friends. He would die for his family. He loves, like, to me, hard, and it's out there, and he lives in that love action. Thor would be, that's who I would be.
Yeah. He's got an Asgardian code. And so it's almost like it just supplements everything else. That's an interesting take, Danny. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I'm an interesting kind of gal.
I love it.
Little weird one. So what is it like being in the reserves and then still doing this? I'm just curious. Like, how do you manage that? Is it something that's even an issue? Like, I don't know.
it provided me the flexibility I needed, and it gave me a lot of opportunities. So in my own case personally, I got a lot of international travel. I could take assignments whenever I wanted. My unit is very, very professional. And it gave me, they work with you with your, whatever your civilian career is. And so I work with lawyers, CHPs, doctors, people of all different walks of life. Mm-hmm. And then I'm kind of actually the odd one because I'm a self-made entrepreneur. So I'm a little different, but the reserves has been an amazing experience for me. I've been in Korea 14 times. I did a Middle East assignment. It's always been a good time. And I recently hit my 15 in the reserves.
Wow. That's a good track. Good track. You're making it. You're making that way. So how did you not succumb to being stuck into those labels of a high school dropout and 2 times college dropout? Because I know I had to do a lot of work and it took me a long time, and maybe I'm a little thicker skinned or slower on stubborn. Stubborn would be the most appropriate word to use. Stubborn in my past. How did you get past that? Because there's a lot of people that drop out. There's a lot of people that drop out and go nowhere and get stuck in that kind of mindset. And then there's a lot of people, probably more than people realize, that drop out and become amazing and fulfilled and giving back into society, whatever that looks like. So what was it for you? What did that journey look like?
For me personally, I felt stupid for most of my life. I've been made fun of a lot. I was bullied. And when you drop out, it really is a dagger to your soul. And for me, it wasn't any disciplinary stuff, because people drop out for 2 reasons, either disciplinary or academic. Mine was always academic. I never was a bad kid. I just couldn't focus in a classroom, and I was bad at tests. And so as I got older, I hit my mid-20s and my early 30s, I started really focusing. I'm like, okay, Rob, what are you good at? And I'm like, okay, I have a good vocabulary. I love to read. I'm good at processing information, but just in a different way than most people do. And so I'm going to create my own job around that. And I literally made my career because I knew I didn't want to be in a cubicle. I'm a little weird around people, and I don't mix well with the general population. So I'm not a corporate guy. So to answer your question, I had to change the way I looked at myself, Danny. And we all need to think ourselves powerful.
Yeah. Do you think, can you remember? So it is a dagger to your soul, but I also remember it not feeling that way when I did it. I did it because I was like, I don't want to be pregnant and go to high school. That's kind of embarrassing. I was this cute little blonde, friends with everybody, not really part of any social circle, and not an A student, but not failing, right? I was a good BC student, but friends with everyone. And I was ashamed and embarrassed. So that's why I dropped out. So I never thought it was a dagger to my soul until years later. Then I started feeling it, right? But then I realized, like you said, okay, I do have good things about me. I'm not an idiot, and I am a caring person. It took a long time. I was probably in my mid-20s when I made that, started making that emotional change. So I think I was in this survival mode. And then I started, then when I realized, I got this, I started switching, right? So now I'm 6 years into a super successful business, handling multiple family finances of all the family. We're Italian. So the woman's in charge of all the financial things and whatever, blah, 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 blah. When was it for you that you made that switch? Because I'm sure you didn't think when you dropped out, you were just in a reaction, right? You're in a reactive mode or survival mode. So when did you make your?
It was probably early 30s. And I had a lot of major life changes go on. So I was teaching high school. I joined the reserves. I enrolled the PhD program. So I was doing all these things to better myself. But these were all things, Danny, it was like a slow growing seed in a garden, right? Mm-hmm. I did all these things, and I sacrificed I don't remember 30 to 35 at all. And I did it because I knew when I hit my 40s, all of this would come together like Voltron, and it would be this incredible life. But I definitely went like the Shaolin monk, like sacrifice for 5 to 8 years and give up everything because it's going to pay off when you're old. It has, but oof.
Don't call us old. Older.
Mature.
Seasoned. Mature. We're not old. Don't go there. But so now here you are, and just give me a peek. Like, what does your life look like now? Like now,
it's
all and you're this oldest dirt man.
Right. It's amazing because I have complete and total freedom. You know, I've got a bunch of one-on-one clients. I'm running a private membership group where I teach income streams. I got the magazine. I do something like 12 trainings a week on Facebook, and I've got balance, and that's what's really fun. I have the freedom to do whatever I want when I want. You know, money is flowing in. I'm making an impact on people. Like, I really do love the life I've created.
That is super, super cool. Like visualizing what you do and then seeing it come to life. And I'm sure it's stressful. I think anytime you're an entrepreneur, anytime there is like stress in your life, but it's how you handle the stress that we're given kind of gives you the outcome of what you want. So just because I'm a little needy and selfish, what is one of your ways that you handle stress? Because I'm like, oh, I want to learn that from you.
Well, the Middle East assignment prepped me for stress. Busiest air operations center on, and the air picture for Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, all that stuff. I was there on the ground for 6 months. And after that, nothing stressful. And I can't even imagine like what it's like being like a combat vet, boots on the ground outside the wire. So veterans are actually adaptive to stressful situations. My life right now is cake, honestly, Danny. So when I do have days that are challenging, I work out or I go run to the park. You know, physical activity is really a good way to just kind of free the mind.
That's like your way. Yeah. A lot of people, you know, it's so funny. A lot of people have that. That's like their tool. I was just like talking to a woman this morning. That's her thing. She like runs because it like frees her mind. I'm always like, no, it just makes me feel thinner. Like, I don't think that's my stress release tool. Like, if it just makes me feel thinner, then no. Yeah. Because in all honesty, not going to lie, I work out so I can eat because I'm a huge foodie. So your tip didn't help me, but I hope it helps somebody else out there.
Somebody out there will get value from it, I promise.
Yes, and that's really all that matters. It does not always have to be about me. It's about giving. Leading with love. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm excited actually because we talked about this and I'm joining his group in March. And also I got to say what I love about that is one, knowledge is power, right? That's what I believe. Well, you don't have to believe, but I believe knowledge is power. So the more little things I learn, great. And even if it's things I know, it makes you remember them or put action behind them and a little like it's never bad to have someone being like, did you do that? That's on your to-do list to, you know, that you're trying to move forward for. So I'm really excited about doing that. And I'm publicly stating it now. So, you know, I'm not full of crap, Robert Garcia. There was a point behind that. I forgot my point behind me joining in. Oh, no. This is what I love about it. You don't make people sign a contract. Along all those other things that I just mentioned, another selling point for me was that you're like, join. If you don't like it, you can get out.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. It's so talking about design your paycheck. And so I teach people how to monetize things. So everybody out there has something they can monetize and turn into a paycheck. I have like 8 income streams right now. And it's any person, Danny, regardless of skill level, can create their own paycheck. And even if they have no, let's say somebody just didn't learn how to do anything, they can interview famous people. They can start a membership group. They can start their own, you know, Facebook Live show. There's all this stuff out there if you have the desire to win.
I love it. So anyways, that's my selling for you, my like promo for you, because I really enjoyed it. And we've talked about it in the past, and I told him I was going to do it, and I didn't do it in February. And I gave you all my excuses of why I didn't do it. I think you understand. I'm only home like 7 days this month. But March 1st is mine. You're going to see a whole new Danny Rocco.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not that new, or that far off, but something. I don't know. But Robert, I'm really glad we actually had this conversation. And you came on today to share your value and where you were and how you got to where you are today. Because I think it's brave to tell that out loud, to say it out loud. And I think for me, it gives like a little encouragement, right? Like we can all do anything. And there's always something inside us that we need to speak on that we might be afraid of, whether it's a different story than yours. But I think verbalizing our fears make us more human to people, especially in this non-human world where everything is so perfect and it's really not. So yeah, thank you.
I love it, Danny. And thank you so much for having me on the show. Like I said, this has been one of my goals for a long time.
Well, I'm glad I could achieve that. But before I let you go, and hopefully it works out that I see you in a couple of weeks, because that'll be cool. You are on my list in San Diego. I'll take a picture of my calendar just so you know that you are on my list. It's actually, you're at the top. It's like Robert, Gary Miller, I'm going to say them all, Tommy Anderson, Susie, I can never say her last name, Raquel, I've got all these people. But in this moment right now, Robert, what does love mean to you?
Love means making another person's life better.
I think you live out what that means to you. I think it ebbs and it flows. And right now, that is where your heart is. And I appreciate it. And I can totally feel it. So with that ending, to everybody else out there, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time. See you.